Beneath the vast expanse of the Milky Way, a small village nestled between rolling hills remained untouched by time. It was a place where secrets whispered through the leaves of ancient trees and where the unexplainable often merged with the mundane. Here lived a young woman named Leona, whose curiosity burned brighter than the stars that lit the night sky. She had always felt a peculiar pull toward the unknown, an ache in her heart she couldn't quite name. Her dreams were vivid, filled with strange, fragmented messages that seemed to echo from a distant realm. These were no ordinary dreams. They felt like signals from another soul. Leona's life was simple. Days were spent tending to her family's small garden or helping her father repair tools in their workshop. But the nights were hers alone. She'd sit by her window, sketching the constellations or scribbling down fragments of her dreams in a worn leather journal. They were always the same, blurred visions of another world, glimpses of faces she didn't recognize, and words that seemed to hold a cryptic meaning. These fragments were accompanied by a strange sensation, as though a thread connected her to someone else, somewhere far beyond her comprehension. One fateful evening, Leona's world began to shift. She was sketching the constellation Orion when she noticed a peculiar light pulsing in the sky, brighter than any star she'd seen before. It flickered rhythmically, almost as if it were communicating. Her heart raced, and a chill ran down her spine. Was it a message? Leona quickly jotted down the sequence of flashes in her journal, translating them into dots and dashes. It was Morse code, she realized, though she had no idea what it spelled. Determined to uncover its meaning, she spent the next few days poring over her notes, decoding the sequence letter by letter. The message, when unraveled, was simple yet profound. I hear you. Leona's hands trembled as she stared at the words. Was someone responding to her dreams? Or was it merely a coincidence? She couldn't shake the feeling that this was the beginning of something extraordinary. That night, she set out to replicate the signal, using a handheld lantern to flash a response into the night. She didn't know if anyone would see it, let alone understand, but she felt compelled to try. The next night, the light returned, its sequence more complex this time. Leona's excitement grew as she translated the message. Where are you? For weeks, the exchange continued. Each night brought new signals, each more intricate than the last. The messages grew longer, forming fragmented sentences that hinted at a connection Leona couldn't explain. I feel you, one message read. Another said, your thoughts echo mine. The signals seemed to come from beyond the stars, yet they resonated with a deeply personal intimacy. Whoever, or whatever, was sending them seemed to understand her in a way no one else ever had. Leona confided in no one about her discovery. She feared that others would dismiss her as foolish or, worse, attempt to interfere. Instead, she poured her thoughts into her journal, documenting every interaction, every fleeting feeling that arose from the connection. It wasn't long before the messages began to feel like conversations. They shared fragments of their lives, though the other's world remained shrouded in mystery. The sender described their surroundings in poetic, otherworldly terms. A sky of liquid amber, forests that hum with life, and waters that remember. Leona, in turn, described her quaint village and the simplicity of her days. Over time, Leona began to notice changes within herself. Her dreams became more vivid, and she could feel emotions that weren't her own. Moments of joy, sorrow, and wonder would wash over her unexpectedly, leaving her breathless. It was as if she were experiencing the world through someone else's eyes. The connection grew stronger, and with it came an unshakable sense of belonging. She realized she was no longer alone in the vastness of existence. Her soul was entwined with another. One night, the signal stopped. Leona waited by her window, her heart heavy with unease, but the sky remained silent. Days turned into weeks, and the absence of the lights left a void she couldn't fill. She began to question everything. Had she imagined it all? Had the connection been severed? Her dreams, once vibrant, now felt hollow, and the world seemed dimmer without the enigmatic presence that had come to mean so much. Determined not to let the connection fade into memory, Leona resolved to find the source of the signals. She pored over star charts, piecing together clues from the messages. Her nights were spent scouring the skies, searching for any sign of the light that had once guided her. She even attempted to send her own signals, though none were answered. It wasn't until a particularly restless night that she experienced something extraordinary. As Leona drifted into an uneasy sleep, her dreams took on a new intensity. She found herself standing in a vast, shimmering landscape unlike anything she'd ever seen. The ground beneath her feet sparkled like crushed gemstones, and the air hummed with an otherworldly melody. In the distance, she saw a figure approaching. It was both familiar and foreign, as though it existed at the edge of her understanding. As the figure drew closer, she felt an overwhelming surge of recognition. This was the soul she'd been connected to. The figure spoke, though not with words. Their thoughts intertwined, forming a language of pure emotion and understanding. "You found me," the presence said, its essence radiating warmth and gratitude. Leona's heart swelled with a sense of unity she'd never known. They shared their stories, their fears, their dreams, and in that moment, the barriers of time and space dissolved. Leona understood that the signals had been a bridge, a way for their souls to find one another across the vast chasm of existence. When she awoke, the memory of the dream lingered, vivid and tangible. Though the signals never returned, Leona no longer felt their absence as a loss. She carried the connection within her, a thread that bound her to a soul beyond the stars. The experience transformed her, filling her days with purpose and wonder. She continued to watch the skies, not out of longing, but out of gratitude for the profound connection she'd been granted. Leona's story became a quiet legend in the village, though she shared it with no one. To the world, she remained the curious girl who spent her nights gazing at the stars. But within her heart, she knew the truth. Somewhere, beyond the limits of human understanding, another soul watched the same stars, feeling the same connection, and sending silent signals of love and understanding that would echo through eternity.